Self-remembering. We can look now at self-remembering. It is necessary to remember oneself every day, at least once. Many different descriptions have been handed down through the ages, so we can examine one given almost 4 centuries ago. A disciple asks their master how he can come to the supersensual life and hear God speak. The master replied, "When you can throw yourself into that, where no creature dwells, though it be but for one single moment, then you can hear what God speaks." The disciple asks if the place where no creature, or nothing created dwells is near or far away. The master replies, "It is in you," and adds that it is to be reached by ceasing, even for a moment, from all of one's thinking and willing. When you stand still from self-thinking and self-willing, and can stop the wheel of the imagination and the senses. Furthermore, the student is counseled to do this act at least once a day, but only for a short time. It certainly must not be attempted too often. What is being described is referred to in this work as self-remembering. It is sometimes difficult to hear the work speaking to us, because as a rule we are immersed in life and self-interests of various kinds and so cannot hear the work. In the example shared, the disciple asks how they can come to the supersensual state and hear God speak. This means to a state that is above the life of our 5 senses. Have you ever really thought what is the life of your senses? It is all the daily worries, all your cares, regular contacts and interactions, all you see and hear, smell, touch etc., through the senses. You see that there is not enough food, that your pots and pans are wearing out, or you miss the bus, have run out of sugar, need to do laundry and so on. All this is life of the senses. You see war. You see money. You smell your coffee, read an email with bad news, you taste your breakfast, feel an earth tremor, hear the rain and smell the damp earth, brush your own hair and so on. All this is sensual, or life transmitted by the senses. How many of us are upset because of commercial power failure or because of another man or woman, because we cannot buy what we want and so on? All this is sensual. It is the sensual life, a life as we experience it through our 5 senses. So one might ask, is there any other kind of life apart from my business, my job, my daily cares, my house, my pets, my family, my friends, my sick child, my this or my that, and so on? In other words, you are asking, is there any other life than the sensual life? Esotericism speaks of another life, and this work speaks of it. We know, for example, how often the work says that we must transform incoming impressions. Yet, glued to that sensory reality that masters us at every moment, making us its slave, we cannot see beyond the particular life event that is exerting its influence upon us at any given moment, as for instance, we have lost our keys or our bag, someone has been rude to us, the neighbor's dog is barking. When we are in a particular external event, everything seems to be that event, does it not? Then it passes and we wonder what happened. Recall that it was once noted that life is a series of events, or if you prefer, that passing time, hour by hour, day by day, is composed of a definite structure of events that crowd in all the time on different scales. As personal events, family events, local events, national events, world events, solar and cosmic events, all on different scales. These are due to the 48 orders of laws that we fall under. We can never be without some event that is trying to take force from us. Bad news or crime are events, for example. Certainly war is an event, however they are not on the same scale, of course. There is a common phrase, that life is one thing after another, and it is necessarily so, since we are under definite laws and are never free. This takes us probably all our lives to grasp, and even then we cannot grasp it fully. If you notice the kind of being you have, then you will get to know that it weaves a thread continuing the same series of events. Our level of being attracts our life, in other words the events belonging to it. You may feel how bad it is that these things always happen to you. Yes, but what has the work to say about this? Have you ever made the connection? Have you observed your life and its events from the angle of what the work teaches about being? There are times when self-observation is no good. Then you can say, I wish to remember myself, and you will find that the work helps you. P.D. Uspensky suggested that people should remember themselves at certain definite times, as an exercise. The work emphasizes the importance of self-remembering from the start. We often forget to remember ourselves. We wonder what to do, but forget to remember ourselves. Perhaps we think of it but we do not try to do it. We are always thinking of but not doing the work. When we make no attempt at self-remembering, our inner continuity with the work is broken. The work moves away from us, and we pass into life. When this happens, it is necessary to self-remember, which opens us again to the influences of the work. This is quite a definite experience, but as mentioned, we usually forget to self-remember, and try instead to do something ourselves. To remember oneself is a surrender of the self, when we realize our helplessness. It is impossible to self-remember if we do not realize and understand that better influences can reach us. In one book written some 8 centuries ago by someone belonging to Sufi schools, the writer compares self-remembering with coming to the surface of the sea in order to draw in air. This air, he says, is miraculous, and will last a whole day, even when one is at the bottom of the ocean. When we are very much identified with life, it is difficult to self-remember. It is also difficult when we have a wrong inner attitude to this work. Again, it is difficult to understand anything about self-remembering when we are identified with ourselves. When we make a practice of self-remembering every day, we begin to be aware of a continuity running through our lives. On the other hand, we become aware when this continuity is lost. When we feel that continuity and the loss of it, we have reached a point in the work of the emotional center. This is like inner taste, and the start of real work conscience, a sense of being that lies beyond the ordinary. We can practice this through breath meditation. It's a simple practice no matter what our religious background, because the breath does not belong to Buddhism or Christianity, to anyone at all for that matter. It is common property that anyone can meditate upon and the most beneficial to our body, for when we're dealing with breath, we're dealing not only with the air coming in and out of our lungs, but also with all the feelings of energy that course throughout our body with each breath. If we can learn to become sensitive to these feelings, let them flow smoothly and unobstructed, then we can help our body to function more easily, give our minds a handle for dealing with pain. Sit comfortably erect, in a balanced position. You don't have to be ramrod straight like a soldier. Just try not to lean forward or back, to the left or to the right. Close your eyes and simply observe, like a movie theater, note and observe the things going through your mind. Watch though, don't engage or get distracted. No sticky, don't touch anything or you will become attached and drawn into it. A moment's reflection will show that we cannot find stillness in the past or future. The past is gone and our memory of it is undependable. The future is a blank uncertainty. So the only place we can really find clarity is in the present. But even here we have to know where to look. If we try to find stillness in things that change, like sights, sounds, smells, sensations in general, people and things outside of us, we're chasing shadows, like a dog turning after its own tail. So true clarity, real silence and empty space has to be sought within us. Meditation is such a quest, to find what has solid and unchanging worth in the mind, something that even death cannot touch. To find this we need tools. One of which is observing eye, that separation of the observed and the observer. Only when we have cleared our mind in this way, then sit back outside of matters, are we ready to focus on the breath. Bring the light of your attention to the sensation of breathing. Breathe in long and out long for a couple of times, focusing on any spot in the body where breathing is easy to notice, and your mind feels comfortable focusing. This could be at the nose, at the chest, at the abdomen, or any spot at all really. Stay with that place, noticing how it feels as you breathe in and out. Don't force the breath, or bear down too heavily with your focus. Let the breath flow naturally, and simply keep track of how it feels. Savor it, as if it were an exquisite sensation you wanted to prolong. If your mind wanders off, simply bring it back. Don't get discouraged. If it wanders 100 times, bring it back 100 times. Observe, don't engage, and you will find the empty spaces. You can even experiment with different kinds of breathing. If long breathing feels comfortable, stick with it. If it doesn't, then change to whatever rhythm feels soothing to your body. You can try short breathing, fast breathing, slow breathing, deep breathing, shallow breathing. Whatever feels most comfortable to you right now, and creates the space for that moment within you. Once you have the breath comfortable at your chosen spot, Move your attention to notice how breathing feels in other parts of the body. Start by focusing on the area just below your navel. Breathe in and out, and notice how that area feels. If you don't feel any motion there, just be aware of the fact that there's no motion. If you do feel motion, notice the quality of the motion, to see if breathing feels uneven there, or if there's any tension or tightness. If there's tension, think of relaxing it and letting go. If your breathing feels jagged or uneven, think of smoothing it out. Let your attention settle comfortably, and then let the sensation of conscious awareness focus on that particular area, gradually spreading to fill the entire body, from the head down to the toes, so that you're like a spider sitting in the middle of a web. It's sitting in one spot, but it's sensitive to the entire web. Observing, waiting, but not doing anything. Keep your awareness expanded like this, for its tendency will be to shrink to a single spot, and think of the breath coming in and out your entire body, through every pore. Let your awareness simply stay right there for a while, doing nothing except feeling. There's nowhere else you have to go, nothing else you have to think about. Don't expect to hold this kind of focus for very long. To begin with, we're lucky if we can do it for more than 45 seconds at a time. But gradually this will expand through time, until it becomes possible to maintain a level of stillness for about 45 minutes. Think with your mind, move with your abdomen and feel with your spine. Separate these three functions and let them settle into their respective centers. And then gradually come out of meditation.